The masked figure trembled slightly. The only movement since it had taken its seat, its dark blue cloak betraying nothing. My own son and daughter were sacrificed. Not lost, not killed by our enemies, sacrificed. Do not claim I was disloyal. The surrounding leaders of the Santali Empire shot looks at each other. 4 in total, they sat in a semicircle, the masked figure sitting at the center of this would-be circle, instead of his empty seat to the far right. At the head sat the Emperor. Emperor of all reptilian Santali. Emperor of 8 child worlds, blessed under their rule. His throne, a throne of gold, steel, and bones. He gave a curt nod, and to his right the Inquisitor stood. A creature of average meter height, the Grenouille cleared her throat. Dressed in unassuming browns and reds which matched her thick fur, the antlers which sprouted above her main eyes glittered with a fresh coat of paint. Her pursed lips a sign of placation. As the Inquisitor, I will be the first to assume betrayal. Her sweet, trilling voice showing nothing of the cold-hearted bitch playing those chords. Be at peace. No one, not even I, accused the Empire's dagger of treason. Other faces grimaced, their races grimace. But an accounting must be made. The Emperor leaned forward and swept his clawed hand around, gesturing to the walls of the room. It has been 20 years since my father handed you the Empire's dagger in this very room, this heart of the Empire. 20 years! Shouting, the Emperor leaned forward so much he was nearly standing. The Emperor's tongue slowly slid in and out of his mouth as he tasted his words. For the first time, my dagger seems chipped. His piercing red reptilian eyes focused on the mask. Slowly, purposefully, he sat back down and eased his tense muscles, the beautiful iguana-like face relaxing. The Duke, another Santali, rose on his creaky old digitigrade legs and showed his support. My Emperor, I've seen enough wars to know that makes him a damn fine blade. His speech slurred as his breath passed what remained of his cleanly cut-off nose. 20 years and only one blemish. If the dagger couldn't succeed in this scheme, no one could. When it was clear the Duke had finished, the Grenouille Inquisitor trilled. Dagger, explain, if you would. Explain how you failed to entice the human beasts to war. Perhaps we all can learn a lesson. The masked figure brought out a stone from beneath his robe. I will say what I must. Firstly, of my children. The rock clinked, and each of the watchers saw brief memories of the dagger's children. 21 years ago, the dagger had his first child. Found in the gutter, at 4 years of age, his broken wing left him with no real place in the world. Only the dagger knew his true face, the face of a young, large-eyed Scrix. His naked body clothed, his wounds treated, his belly fed, the boy soon sported short, brightly coloured fur once again. He was happy. As soon as that mask was on, he was no longer a Scrix. Brought into the safety of the cloak, he was an eye of the Empire, a tool of the dagger. 20 years ago. The dagger had his second child. A pregnant Grenouille had killed her mate. The unborn would die with her as she was cast in the pit. The dagger had caught the corpse in the dark before it struck the jagged stones. Just as the hope and life filled the Grenouille's eyes, his throat was sliced. Without delay, the dagger opened the corpse and retrieved the child. A day more and she would have been born. She was brought to the cloak. She crushed his soul with her sweetness. Eventually, his duty to the Empire won, and the mask was placed on her. No longer a Grenouille. Another tool. 18 years ago. The dagger's third child is a high-born Santali. She wasn't supposed to be. The dagger shouldn't have brought her to the cloak. At the age of 7, she begged for safety, begged for vengeance. She had family still, not all gone. She vowed they would be soon enough. The dagger resented and became her new family. This tool took the mask. It didn't need placing. The dagger was not pleased at this, but still loves her. He is her only surviving family, after all. The Inquisitor's paws kneaded her neck hair. Any other children? No. She looked unconvinced. The silent Qualit to her far left finally parted his fishy lips. Dagger speak. Money wasted, time wasted, no war. Human peace, Enko peace. What gained? What hoped? The purr stood on his stumpy legs as his feather manipulators pulled him off his chair. Waste bad, he roared. His imperial uniform a little too gilded for anyone to take that outburst seriously. The Inquisitor didn't look the purse's way, but the dagger knew she was wishing his fish lips were sewn shut. Her damn trilling continued. Of course. So, Empire's dagger, you have 3 children, all ready or loyal. Humans and Enko await. Tell us what happened. The masked head turned slightly, looking at her. She smiled. Our Emperor awaits. The dagger took a moment for hate, then turned to the Emperor. My Emperor, as you know, my plan was simple. He raised the rock yet again. His second child was the first to fall. She melded her mask with a third Enko face, ears moving to the top of the head, tail sprouting from her ear, body turning live and quick. She lived among them for 3 years, catching a spy in her net. She married him and came back to the Centauri Empire. Here they lived for a full year before we caught them. They were both put to death a year ago. His first child fell next. He also melted his mask with an Enko face. He took a little longer than his sister and didn't return with a spy until 3.5 years. Caught, both killed half a year ago. His third child. She had married the last spy they needed far in advance. Melded with a beautiful Enko face, she caught their most suited. He brought them both back to the Centauri Empire, their live purple forms standing out amongst the citizenry. They had opened a diner on the Centauri homeworld, the spy being a chef assassin of sorts at times. They had lived on the homeworld for 3 years now. The dagger had set the stage with his children's corpses. The Enko believed their chef assassin has slipped the net. They must believe it. If they believe it, those interrogating them will not suspect our hand any more than another. The human finally arrived, his giant form barely fitting through the entrance. The dagger was in his usual seat, sipping the bland Enko tea he pretended to love. His performance was perfect, wide eyes staring at the human, until noticed he quickly looked away, just another patron. The human boomed his greeting and placed his order. An official of the Terran Concord, a hero of wars between his people, honored by his enemies and friends alike. The Enko spy had long since enticed him to the diner as a regular. Friends tell friends things, and a spy is everyone's best. The poison was added. His child had done her duty. Soon the loud human would be dead. The spy would eventually run when the poison was found. Human spies would swarm. The Enko's assassin past would be discovered. Centauri hands clean, war between humans and Enko would soon follow. The human failed to die. Woo! His face reddening as he breathed in slowly and eyes watering. That's got some kick.